What's up, guys? Coming to you today with a full Sunday of Week 3 NFL football action here on September 21st. I'm going to give out picks on every single game today. We're going to look at plays against the spread and a few over-under spots, and I'll give you my favorite underdog and my massive lock of the day, so buckle up. We have a great video for you today. Slam that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on these videos we're posting here every single day, and comment below with anything you're looking at today across any sport. I'm more than happy to get back to you. Check the pinned comment throughout the day to see our favorite picks, and you should definitely check back a couple of times throughout the day to see if there are any changes with injuries and player availability being confirmed. Yesterday, guys, it's looking like a pretty decent day of college football action. We did get off to a slow start there with Wisconsin at -10. They just did not show up in that game at all, but TCU, they definitely took care of business for us. That was nice. Arkansas State got off to an insanely slow start. They're making a comeback, so they're actually still drawing live at -4.5. James Madison came through a nice win. They easily covered those 8 points, so we'll take the win on that one. We cashed our dog of the day there with Eastern Michigan getting 2.5 points. We don't know what's going to happen yet with Boise State at -10 as our massive lock of the day. We'll have to wait and see on that one, but overall, definitely not looking like a bad day out there in the college football streets. Neither is Premium. Premium's looking really, really hot today across both college football and the MLB, but we'll dive into that here in a little bit, guys. We've got a ton of games to cover on a very loaded Sunday of NFL football action. I'm sure you're stoked. I'm stoked to dive into this, so let's look at our first game of the day. We've got the Green Bay Packers going on the road here to take on the Cleveland Browns. The Packers come into this game 2-0, so off to a very good start to their season, really laying down the law of that 27-13 win over the Lions in Week 1, then taking down the Washington Commanders 27-18 last week. Very, very good stuff. You'll love to see it if you're a Packers fan. Jordan Love, another very good day. Almost 300 passing yards, a couple passing touchdowns, sacked twice, and picked off 0 times. All that hype about him coming into the season healthy turns out is looking very, very realistic. Josh Jacobs had a good day running the ball, 23 carries for 84 yards there and a touchdown. We'll definitely take that. Tucker Kraft led the team in receiving, caught 6 balls for 124 yards and a touchdown, caught 6 out of 7 targets. You can't ask for much better than that. Now, defensively, going up against the Commanders can be a little bit tough. Obviously, Jaden Daniels is a monster. He did throw for a couple touchdown passes against them, but he was sacked 4 times. The Packers completely held down the passing game. They didn't generate any turnovers, but it didn't matter. Giving up only 18 points is going to put you in a really good position an awful lot of the time. So we'll see what they can do here in Week 2. They come in, or Week 3. They come into this week. It sounds like Tucker Kraft, his availability sounds like he's going to play. It's looking like pretty optimistic he's going to play. Will he be at 100%? Seems unlikely. We also see Zach Tom. He is going to be questionable there at right tackle. It's a bit up in the air whether or not he's going to play. He did practice in a limited way during the week, so it's possible that he'll be out there. On the defensive side, they're fully healthy, so that is a big, big deal for this Packers team that's played pretty well defensively through the first couple of weeks. Now, they're taking on a Browns team that's still looking for their first win of the season. A tough 17-16 loss in Week 1 against a Bengals team they probably should have won against, honestly. Now, against the Ravens last week, it was no contest. They lost that game 41-17. Not a lot of great stuff there from Flacco. Only had 1 interception. Dylan Gabriel threw 3 passes for 1 touchdown and 19 yards, so we'll see if he gets any time under center. Seems a bit unlikely to me. The running game, when they were able to use it, I mean, we did see that 131-yard rush, but not a ton of amazing work. Although, I mean, I guess combined, 115 yards on 22 carries is not a bad day. So we'll see if they can get the ground game going here a little bit in this matchup. We'll see, if they can hold on to the ball a little bit better. Flacco throwing 1 interception and fumbling away once, that's not going to work. And the defense got absolutely shredded. I mean, they had no answers for Lamar or Derrick Henry. You're not going to be super shocked with that. Now, Derrick Henry did not have a very heavy workload. Only let him carry the ball 11 times. They don't need to, give this dude a ton of carries. He doesn't need the wear and tear on his body in a game they were clearly never going to lose. So I'm expecting him to have a bounce back here and this week, but we'll cover that once we get to the Ravens game. But yeah, not a banner day there from the Browns defense, which I actually think is relatively decent. Now, in terms of their injury report, some pretty bad news. We see at least 2 starting offensive linemen banged up. Are either one of them going to suit up for this game? Seems very, very unclear here on Saturday night if either one of them are going to play. So that could be a big deal. Defensively, they're relatively healthy, so that's nice, but I don't have a ton of great stuff to say about the Browns defensively after what they played like last week. But we'll see if they've got a bounce back at him here. They're getting 8.5 points in this game. We've got a total of 41.5. Green Bay's 2-0 against the spread this year. They're also 2-0 to the under. Cleveland's 1-1 against the spread and 1-1 to the over-under. This does not feel amazing, but we're going to be back in the Browns here getting 8.5 points. It's an awful lot of points. They're 0-2 on the season. I think they find a way to keep this relatively close here. And a big reason why I think they can keep this to like a one-score game, the Packers have a lot of injuries there on the offensive line that we were just talking about. The Browns' defensive line is excellent. Definitely some professional money coming in on the underdogs. I think the public's going to be very big there on the Packers. So the books needing the Browns here, plus 8.5 doesn't hurt our feelings at all. Flacco is getting asked to do an awful lot. The Cleveland running game actually got going a little bit last week. That's optimistic for me. Teams coming off of blowouts usually do well against the spread the next week, and that's why we're going to be leaning here just slightly towards the Cleveland Browns. Next on the docket, we got the Indianapolis Colts heading to Tennessee to take on the Titans. The Colts are 2-0 on the year, and I'm not going to say that fully came out of nowhere because, beating the Dolphins in week 1, okay, cool, it's the Dolphins, but that 29-28 win last week against the Broncos, should they have won that game? Well, maybe not, but they do end up with the win when everything's said and done. So they'll take it. In that game, we saw Danny Dimes continue to look really, really good. Maybe the Giants were the problem, and it wasn't Daniel Jones because he passed for 316 yards, a touchdown, was sacked once, threw 0 interceptions in the game. But really the most dangerous part of this offense might be Jonathan Taylor. 25 carries, 165 yards. He didn't find the end zone there in the ground game, but he did catch a touchdown pass there, caught 2 passes for 25 yards or 50 yards. That's a pretty solid day out there. Really, this Colts offense is looking amazing. Now, we do remember the Saints offense from last season. They looked amazing the first 2 weeks, and that was the end of that. So we'll see if they can keep it rolling here. The defense did not look very good. They did pick Bo Nix off once, but let him pass for 3 touchdowns and 206 yards. They struggled against the run, they struggled against the pass, and they struggled to create turnovers except for that 1 interception. They also generated 0 sacks in the game. So not a lot of love for me for that Colts defense. Now, in terms of the injury report, they're fully healthy there on offense. They are also fully healthy in terms of their starters there defensively. That is a big, big deal here. Already making it through the first couple weeks without a bunch of injuries. Now, they're taking on a Titans team that's 0-2 on the season. They lost 20-12 against the Broncos, then followed that up with a 33-19 loss there against the Rams. Yeah, things aren't looking good for them just in general this year. I don't think that's a huge shock. Cam Ward didn't have a great day, getting sacked 5 times against the Rams, passing for 175 yards and a touchdown. Tony Pollard did have a pretty good day, so I guess that's something positive. Calvin Ridley only caught 3 out of his 6 targets. Drops have been a big problem for him this year. Maybe he's betting his unders again. We could see that being a problem. Cam Ward also turned the ball over via the fumble once. Not a good day for the Titans on offense. Not a good day for them on defense either. Couldn't stop the passing game. Slowed down Kyren Williams a little bit in the run game, I guess. Giving up a 45-yard touchdown run there to Puka Nacua. Not exactly an amazing look there. We'll see if they've got a bounce back in them. They come into this game looking pretty banged up. They're going to be missing at least 1 starting offensive lineman, potentially 2. On defense, Snead's going to be maybe out for this game. We'll see. Missing a cornerback there is pretty bad, and both their cornerbacks are questionable for this game. Going up against the Colts team is going to be more than happy to throw it and more than happy to run it. I don't think that spells a lot of positives here in this one. And looking at the numbers, guys, the Titans are only getting 4.5 points at home. We've got a total of 43.5. The Colts are 2-0 against the spread. They're 1-1 to the over-under this year. The Titans are 1-1 against the spread. They are 1-1 to the over-under as well. Guys, I'm definitely going to be taking the Colts in this one. This is going to be a very, very public side. Maybe my most chalky pick of the day. But this just doesn't make any sense to me. Jonathan Taylor is an excellent running back. The Colts can definitely move it through the air. The Titans can't stop the run. They can't really stop the pass either. I am scared about how public of a spot this is going to be, but we will certainly take the Colts here at anything under a touchdown. I think they win this game very comfortably. Hey guys, quick shout out to the sponsor today and every day's video, and that is StumpTheSpread.com. Click the link in the description to go over there and see the top confidence picks from our entire team of experienced cappers. Right now, our premium members are getting daily MLB, UFC, NFL, and college football picks. Week 3 NFL is upon us right now. Week 4 of college football is looking like it's going to be another very, very profitable one. That would be 2 very solid weeks in a row for us over there in the college football street. So definitely want to get over to the StumpTheSpread.com and check out everything we offer over there. We've got exclusive free picks that are only posted there at StumpTheSpread.com. That's also where you can find our free-to-use bet size calculator. Make sure you are betting responsibly and not going to bust your bankroll on one bad day. Also, that's where you'll find our premium top confidence picks, which will not always match what you see here from me in the videos, as I'm not the premium MLB handicapper, NFL handicapper, or NCAA football handicapper over there at StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experts that put in a crazy amount of work on a day-to-day basis, bringing you the best value premium picks we can find anywhere across all the major sports. A crazy amount of work goes into those games. We're putting just the man hours that go in is pretty nuts, and all the information that's taken into consideration, all the data points taken into consideration on those games It's pretty wild stuff. So definitely want to get in on that if you're interested. It looks like the premium picks are going to be coming off a very, very nice day here on Saturday. So far, I mean, it was a very loaded day, the 20th of September. Oklahoma got off to a good start for us. They won, covered those 6.5 points as a 2-unit play. Missouri is still alive. Baylor is still alive. Buffalo weirdly choked that one away in the back half of that game. That was annoying. But Texas Tech +3. That was a nice 2-unit winner. UNLV -2.5. Another nice 2-unit winner. And on the MLB side, we still got the Dodgers and Red Sox live, but we've already cashed the Athletics Pittsburgh under 8.5 as a 1-unit play, and the no-run first inning in that game as a 1-unit play. So a lot of green check marks showing up for the premium users there yesterday. So looking really good on Saturday. Let's hope we can keep this run going on into Sunday. Definitely hoping for a big week here of NFL action. There's a bunch of NFL picks over there, a crazy amount. We got player props, we got parlays, all kinds of good stuff covered in the premium section for our NFL premium members or our all sport premium members over there at Stump the Spread. So get over there, check that out. Also get on that free email newsletter over there at stumpthespread.com. You'll get one email every single day straight to your inbox. All Stump the Spread needs is for you to click the link down in the description. To get over to stumpthespread.com, you sign up for a free account there using just your name and your email address. That's it. You get one email straight to your inbox or your spam folder, so check your spam folder. But you'll get at least one free pick in there, oftentimes two. Parlays are included in those emails, information on niche sports betting like golf, NASCAR, tennis, WNBA, all kinds of good stuff like that in there. You'll also see updates on our record, just a ton of great information in that email every single day. If you're a serious sports bettor, you definitely want to be on that list. It's a free resource every single day. Also, guys, if you're a huge fan of what you're seeing from us here every single day, you want to click that little join button right below the video to become a YouTube channel member. YouTube channel members get early access to all of our videos, which is a pretty big plus. You get in on those early lines. That's pretty nice. But also, you get your name up on screen in every video, and you get access to our members-only giveaways. Here on the 22nd, just like we do every single week, we'll be giving away a Stump the Spread hoodie to one random channel member. We put everybody's name in a big wheel, all of our channel members. We spin that wheel. Whoever it lands on gets a Stump the Spread hoodie mailed straight to their mailbox. So definitely get in on that if you're interested, guys. We've got a ton more games to cover, so we got to dive right back in here, and we're going to be looking at the Cincinnati Bengals going on the road to take on the Minnesota Vikings. The Bengals come into week 3 probably the most unhappy 2-0 team in the National Football League. They barely beat the Browns, then they barely beat the Jaguars, and we saw Joe Burrow go down, and he is going to be out for a while, it appears. So we'll see how things progress with his rehab, but looks like we're going to be getting a big dose here of Jake Browning. We'll see how that goes. Last week against the Jaguars, he played a big chunk of the game, and I mean, it went okay, I guess. He had 2 touchdowns. We got picked off 3 times, sacked once. I don't know. I mean, Chase Brown couldn't really get the running game going. Browning did run for a touchdown there, so I guess congrats on that. I think the value of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins went way down after seeing, who we're going to have under center, but maybe he'll be good. There's a lot of hype surrounding him right now after what he did last week, so we'll see. I'm a little bit worried. I think I've got good reason to be worried. I'm worried about the defense as well. They gave up 27 points against a pretty bad Jaguars team last week, and yeah, they couldn't stop the run. They couldn't really stop the pass. Picking up Trevor Lawrence twice doesn't really make me that impressed. So yeah, not super high on the Bengals coming into this game. And when you look at their injury report, they have had some problems for sure. We'll see how things go, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a lot of positive stuff to say. They're going to be missing probably 2 starters there on defense, missing both their cornerbacks. That's not great, especially in this matchup. I mean, maybe in this matchup it'll mean a little bit less, but things might be changing here a little bit for the Vikings. The Vikings come into this game fresh off that 22-6 loss against the Falcons last week, but in some potentially, if not great, at least potentially interesting news, we're going to see a little change at quarterback there. J.J. McCarthy apparently injured, played the whole game, but is apparently injured and can't go this week. We'll see what that means. He was god-awful last week, so I think switching to Carson Wentz is overall a good thing. Last week, they couldn't get anything positive out of J.J. McCarthy. The running game couldn't get going. They were losing, so they couldn't really couldn't do anything but throw the ball. Poor Justin Jefferson out there trying to make spin gold out of the crap that he's given as quarterbacks recently. They've turned the ball over a total of 4 times, sacked 6 times, a terrible day from the Vikings. They were actually pretty good defensively, holding Penix Jr. in check. Couldn't stop the running game there of the Falcons. That was what really cost them in the end. But yeah, the Vikings, I think they should have a little bit renewed hope. Now, they are banged up coming into this game. They're going to be missing at least 1 offensive lineman, maybe 2. But I think changing things up at quarterback is a big step in the right direction. Defensively, they could also be missing a couple, 1 linebacker, 1 member of the secondary, but I'm not super worried about that here against the Bengals. in the situation that they're looking at quarterback. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Vikings are -3. We've got a total of 41.5 in this game. The Bengals are 1-1 against the spread. Both teams 1-1 against spread, 1-1 over under. No trends there to look at. But guys, I'm going to take the Vikings at -3 in this game. Carson Wentz under center for the banged up Vikings, I think, is actually a step in the right direction. The Bengals are terrible. Jake Browning couldn't stop throwing the ball to the other team last week. I think McCarthy going out is actually going to help the Vikings. For sure, give me them here for a comfortable win and cover. I think the better team at almost every position, and definitely the better team now at quarterback. Next on the dock, we're looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're heading to New England to take on the Patriots. The Steelers got that crazy 34-32 win in week 1 over the Jets. Last week, going up against the Seahawks, they did not look very good at all. We saw Rodgers take a significant step back there, getting picked off twice. 1 touchdown pass, completed only 18 of 33 passes. Did not look good. Looks pretty old out there in that one. Warren didn't necessarily have a great day running the ball. Couldn't get the running game going very much at all. Only those 2 turnovers, but 2 turnovers and 3 sacks. Not a great look, and defensively, they weren't doing anything great either. I guess they did have 2 interceptions, so that's nice, but gave up 105 rushing yards to Kenneth Walker III on only 13 carries. That's pretty tough. Didn't have any answers there for most of the passing game, and yeah, going up 31 points. Apparently, the Steelers defense looks terrible through the first couple weeks, so we'll see if they can turn things around, but it has not looked great. They come into this game looking relatively healthy there offensively, like, okay, cool, like, that's fine, but defensively, they're super banged up. 2 secondary guys confirmed out. Going to be missing Alex Highsmith there at linebacker. Derek Harmon probably going to be out there at defensive end. Like, it's just going from bad to worse for an already pretty bad defense. So we'll see if they can muster up here against the Patriots, who at 1-1 on the year, not exactly killing it. They lost 20-13 in week 1 against the Raiders, then won 33-27 in a nail-biter last week against the lowly Dolphins. We'll see. They're going to have to play at least a little bit better in this one. We liked some of what we saw from Drake May last week, I guess. I mean, 19 of 23, 230 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Not a whole lot of problems there, but let's keep in mind that was against the Dolphins, who basically don't have a secondary. He was sacked 3 times. The running game was fine there. I mean, Drake May did have a rushing touchdown as well, so maybe I'm being a little bit too tough on him after a rough week 1. Week 2, he looked better, but it was against the Dolphins, so let's not freak out too much. Now, the running game looking better is definitely helpful. They took care of the ball in that game. Defensively, they did sack Tua 5 times. That's a good look, but gave up 315 passing yards and 2 passing touchdowns. They did stop the run, so that's good. A-Chain is not a joke, but they couldn't stop Tyreek Hill, so we'll see what they do on defense here. I'm expecting them to be okay, maybe not amazing. Now, in terms of their injury report, nothing major wrong on the offensive side of the ball. They are going to be missing Christian Gonzalez there at cornerback still. He's still going to be out for this game, so we'll see if that messes them up at all in the secondary, but I think they're going to be okay. And looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the Patriots are getting 2 points here at home. We've got a total of 44.5 in this game. The Steelers are 0-2 against the spread, 2-0 to the over. New England 1-1 against the spread, and 1-1 to the over-under. Guys, Rodgers looking like a grandpa out there, got exposed in week 2 like I was saying. The Steelers defense is terrible. The Patriots tried to mess things up against Miami, but did still win. I'm not sold on New England being all that great, and with both their starting corners out, that's not ideal. Rodgers could take advantage of that. Drake May, did he get lucky last week, or was he great? I will take the Patriots here, getting 2 points, but this is a pretty small lean. Much better than the side in this one. I like the over in this game. I don't like either one of these defenses that much, especially not in this spot. We're looking at a total of only 44.5 in this game. I like the over in this one, just about enough to put it in the pinned comment. It definitely has a very, very good chance, because I think we're going to see an awful lot of offense in this game. Next on the docket, we're looking at the Los Angeles Rams going on the road to take on the Philadelphia Eagles. The Rams are 2-0 to start their year, now knocking off the Texans and the Titans. I don't think it's time to start planning the Super Bowl parade yet, but they have played well so far. That 33-19 beat down against the Titans last week definitely makes them look good. Stafford was picked off once in the game, but looked good other than that. Almost 300 yards passing, only sacked once, yada yada. Pretty solid stuff there. Kyron Williams, not exactly a banner day, but he was moving the ball okay. Puka Nacua looking like an absolute monster. Devontae Adams having his biggest day as a Ram there by a long shot. 106 yards and a touchdown. Caught only 6 of 13 targets, so that is a little bit concerning. So we'll see how the offense continues to gel, but they looked really good. The defense looked good as well. 5 sacks, only gave up 1 touchdown pass. They did struggle a little bit against the run, so that's a concern coming into this game, but really, they looked pretty good there, and only giving up 19 points is good for a Rams defense that I don't really think is going to be elite. Now, in terms of the injury report here for the Rams, it's not looking terrible. We do see one starting offensive lineman listed as doubtful. That is a little bit concerning against the Eagles. They are probably going to be missing Fisk there at defensive end, but we'll see. There's a possibility that he still plays in this game, and they're going to need him here going up against the Eagles, who are now 2-0 on the year. A weird game there against the Cowboys where they do emerge with the win in week 1, but then followed it up with a okay 20-17 win there against the Chiefs. They were gifted that touchdown there by Travis Kelce, but other than that, they controlled the game pretty aggressively, so we'll see what they're able to do here in week 3. Obviously, this is a team that feels very good about themselves. They don't really need Jalen Hurts to throw the ball down the field too much. Only passed for 100 yards last week. The running game looked really, really good. The tush push was definitely working out. Saw Saquon have a good day. Really can't complain too much about what they did against what I think is going to be actually a pretty solid Chiefs team, despite the fact they're 0-2. So I liked a lot of what I've seen from the Philadelphia Eagles so far this year in terms of health. They look pretty good there on both sides of the ball, if I'm being honest. Like, not too concerned about any injury stuff that I'm seeing right now. So, looking at the numbers for this game, the Eagles are 3.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 44.5 in this game. The Rams are 2-0 against the spread, 1-1 to the over-under. The Eagles are 1-1 against the spread, and 2-0 to the under. Guys, I'm going to take the Eagles here at -3.5. I think it's a pretty good spot. It's a classic sell-high spot there on the Rams. McVay and the Rams are 5-9 against the spread, playing on the road against teams that are over 500. The 33-19 win of the Titans was the biggest blowout ever of the Stafford-McVay era. The Rams are getting too much credit here. I don't think they're actually all that great, or at least they got to prove it to me. The Eagles could have lost each of their first 2 games, but I still think they're going to win and cover in this one. I don't think it's going to be a problem. Hurts playing against a team that is above 500, and he is a favorite at home. He's 17-0 straight up in his career. That is nuts. Definitely give me the Eagles in this one with a solid chance to make the pinned comment. Rolling right along here, guys, we've got the New York Jets heading to Tampa Bay to take on the Buccaneers. The Jets are still looking for their first win of the season. Really let one slip away there in week 1 against the Steelers. Then we got a little bit sucked in, and they thought maybe they could hang with the Bills. Well, they certainly did not, losing that game 30-10 in week 2. Yeah, it was a bit rough out there. We saw Tyrod Taylor under center, and that is what we are slated to see again this week. Will that help them? Will that hurt them? We'll have to see. Justin Fields is out. Tyrod Taylor did look good in semi-limited action there in week 2, but not enough to help him keep up with the Bills. The running game did some positive stuff, but not too much. The passing game couldn't really get going. They turned the ball over at least once, and yeah, the defense wasn't amazing either, giving up 30 points against the Bills. Couldn't stop Josh Allen, couldn't stop the running game. It was just kind of a bloodbath. Couldn't create any turnovers. Not loving a lot of what I'm seeing here from the Jets. And looking at the injury report, Josh Reynolds is going to be out there along with Fields. Other than that, the offense is healthy. On defense, they're going to be missing at least 2 starters, maybe up to 4 starters. Not a lot of good news. The defensive line is banged up. The linebacker core is banged up, and they could be missing 2 guys out of the secondary. So things are looking very bleak right now for the Jets, who are taking on a similarly banged up Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that's 2-0 on the year, a close win against the Falcons, and a 1-point win last week against the Texans. Lots of Baker magic mixed in there, but hey, they'll take it. 2-0 is 2-0, and they are leading the NFC South already. In that win against the Texans, Baker really was what made this happen, guys. 215 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He was sacked 4 times, but did not turn the ball over. The Buccaneers didn't turn the ball over at all in that game. Bucky Irving had a big night, 17 carries for 71 yards. Rachaad White, 65 yards on 10 carries and a touchdown. They looked really, really good out there on offense. On defense, giving up only 19 points isn't too bad. Seems like the book is kind of out now on CJ Stroud. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Obviously, the Houston running attack didn't do all that much either. So a pretty good day there from the Buccaneers on defense. Not like I expect this to be a top-tier defense. We'll see what they're able to do in this matchup. Looking at the injury report for the Buccaneers, though, it's rough, guys. Chris Godwin Jr. going to be out for this game. Could be missing at least maybe 2 starting wide receivers. That's a big problem. Although, we'll see. Also going to be missing a starting offensive lineman. That's not good. Now, on defense, they are healthy, and they played well last week, so maybe that will be a big help in this game. So, looking at the numbers here, the Buccaneers are 6.5-point favorites. We've got a total of 43.5 in this game. The Jets are 1-1 against the spread, 1-1 to the over/under. Tampa Bay is 2-0 against the spread and 2-0 to the under. I'm not interested in the total in this game, guys, and there was some ideas swirling in my head that maybe if we get the Jets at plus 7.5, maybe we could take them here with Tyrod Taylor under center, but I'm not able to talk myself into it. Give me the Bucks here at -6.5. There's definitely still plenty of 6.5s out there. The Jets defense worries me a lot. The Tampa Bay offensive line being banged up is not great, but Baker, he's a monster. I expect him to make things happen in this one. They're going to score a lot of points. I think the defense is good enough to slow down Tyrod Taylor and the Jets. So I think the Buccaneers will win this one by a touchdown, but not going in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Las Vegas Raiders heading to Washington to take on the Commanders. The Raiders got that 20-13 win in Week 1. Congrats on that, taking down the Patriots, but they followed that up with a 20-9 loss there against the Chargers. We'll see what this team's able to do down the stretch this season. I'm not about to get too excited about a Geno Smith-led team, especially with what we saw from him last week. He got picked off 3 times, sacked 3 times. I mean, it was a brutal day out there, honestly. They could have theoretically been in this game. Now, there was a lot of hype around Genty coming into this season, but he hasn't looked that great. Definitely can't pass block. There were some very embarrassing clips of him going around the internet there last week. But yeah, it's been a little bit bleak here in Week 2, and now they got to take on the Commanders. Definitely not a pushover kind of team. We'll see what the Raiders can do here, but I'm not really expecting any miracles out of them. It's been a bit of a bleak season, and last week they couldn't do a whole lot defensively. Couldn't stop Herbert and company. Couldn't really stop the run when the Chargers wanted to run the ball. They did generate 1 turnover from Herbert, so congrats on that, and a couple sacks, but it was not a great day there for the Raiders on defense. Now, maybe they can turn things around here a little bit, but going up against Commanders, it could be a little bit rough. The Raiders' injury report does look pretty good. Honestly, looking fully healthy there. Offense, defense, full slate of starters ready to go. So we'll see what they can do here against the Commanders, who won in Week 1, 21-6 against the Giants. Couldn't really stay attached to the Packers there. I mean, it wasn't a blowout. They lost 27-18, but they weren't really, truly in that game that much. Jane Daniels, not a banner day for him. 2 touchdown passes, 200 yards through the air, but only 24-42. That's not a great completion percentage. Didn't do a ton running the ball either. That was a bit rough. Just the offense in general did not look amazing in that game. Defensively, they gave up 27 points. Couldn't stop the Jordan Love passing attack or Josh Jacobs on the ground. They also generated 0 turnovers. Not a lot of ringing endorsements coming from me about the Commanders. And the big news this week for the Commanders is that Jay Daniels is officially listed as out for this game. So we're going to be getting Marcus Mariota out there. Noah Brown also out. That's obviously not nearly as big of news. So what can Marcus Mariota do in this spot? He could probably do, he's like a homeless man's version of Jaden Daniels, or maybe he was a homeless man's version of Jaden Daniels. We'll see what Mariota can do in this spot. The defense is fully healthy. They're going to need to play really well in this game for the Commanders to have, a good chance here. Looking at the numbers, the Raiders are 1-1 against the spread. The Commanders are 3-point favorites, a total of 43.5. The Raiders are 1-1 against the spread, 2-0 to the under. Washington's 1-1 against the spread. They're also 2-0 to the under. First up, I think under 43.5 is very reasonable in this game. I might like that better than the side in this one. It's a little bit tough to see what's going to actually go on in this spot. In terms of a side here, I don't love it, but I will be on the Raiders at +3. I think taking the Commanders here with Mariota under center, like this team is kind of just Jaden Daniels and a bunch of old dudes. Like that's a bit of an oversimplification, but I do think the Raiders have what it takes to keep this one close. Now, I like the total here. I'll take under way more than I would take the side in this one, but nothing from this game is going to make the pinned comment. Rolling right along here, guys, we're going to look at the Atlanta Falcons going on the road to take on the Carolina Panthers. The Falcons are 1-1 on the year after a 22-6 beatdown last week at the Vikings. Very good stuff there. The defense did a great job taking advantage of J.J. McCarthy, and Robinson had a banner day running the ball, 22 carries for 143 yards. Now, Michael Penix Jr., is he good? Hard to tell. Did not look good last week, that is for sure. The passing game did not get going too much. Drake London fumbling the ball away once didn't help, but the defense was so dominant last week, stopping J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings running attack that it didn't really matter. They were going to win that game basically no matter what. Now, they do come into Week 3 here looking pretty healthy. We are going to see Penix under center once again. A.J. Terrell Jr. is going to be out there at cornerback, so they're going to be missing one of their starting corners for this game, but is that a big concern going up against the Panthers? I would tend to doubt it, guys. Carolina 0-2 on the year. They got blown out by the Jaguars, then lost 27-22 against the Cardinals last week. It was not amazing. They did play a little bit better late in that game against Arizona, but I don't have a lot of positive things to say about Bryce Young. I know he passed for 328 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 3 times last week, but I don't know. That was against the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are pretty bad despite the fact they're 2-0. So we'll see what he does this week. This isn't an offense that's got tons of weapons. We did see Bryce Young turn the ball over twice last week. That's not good. On defense, they did slow down Kyler Murray a little bit. They slowed down the Cardinals in general a little bit, but it's going to be a little bit of a different situation. You're taking on the Falcons, one of the most dangerous running attacks in the NFL. So, looking at the injury report here for the Panthers, it doesn't look, I've seen worse. Obviously, Xavier Leggetti could be out for this game. We see they're going to be missing at least one starter there on defense. Going to be missing Patrick Jones the second at linebacker. But other than that, they're healthy. Does that matter for this team? Well, they're getting 4.5 points. We've got a total of 43.5 in this game. Atlanta's 1-1 against the spread, 2-0 to the under. Carolina's 1-1 against the spread, and 1-1 to the over/under. Guys, I'm taking Atlanta here minus 4.5. I don't care about the Panthers' late comeback and basically garbage time against Arizona. At least 2 starters missing there from the Panthers' offensive line. They are now on the IL. Their offensive line was already terrible. I think we're going to see the Falcons do a good job getting after the quarterback here. I think we're going to see them to have a great time running the ball in this matchup. I think they comfortably win this game by at least a touchdown. Don't really have a big lean on the total here. Maybe take under, but I definitely think the Falcons at minus 4.5 is pinned comment worthy. Next up, guys, looking at the Houston Texans going on the road to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Texans are 0-2 on the year. They lost a close one against the Rams in week 1, then lost by a single point last week against the Buccaneers. That was pretty brutal stuff. Haven't loved what we've seen from CJ Stroud here in the early returns. I mean, 1 touchdown pass, 207 yards, sacked 3 times last week. Turns out it's a lot harder, as teams get more and more tape on you, and when your running game isn't very good, your entire life gets a little bit rougher. So we'll see what he can do, see if Nick Chubb can look a little bit better here as the season goes on. But overall, this offense has not wowed me. Nico Collins only caught 3 out of his 9 targets last week. Got to find a way to get him open. The best way to do that would be to have another dangerous wide receiver. Doesn't really seem like they have that at the moment. So we'll see what they can do offensively. Defensively, struggled against Baker and company. Didn't really stop the run. Didn't really stop the pass. They only gave up 20 points. I guess that's where we find the positive there for the Texas defense. Now, a nice step down in competition you're taking on the Jaguars for them. That's got to feel a little bit better. They are healthy coming into this game, so that's very, very important as they take on the Jaguars, who lost to the Bengals last week after beating the Panthers in week 1. Turns out the Jaguars might not be good again. Who could have imagined that the Jaguars would be bad? Now, Trevor Lawrence, 3 touchdowns but 2 interceptions. Completed around half of his passes last week despite only being sacked once. Travis Etienne Jr. had a good day running the ball. 14 carries there for 71 yards. That was not a bad look. Now, I don't know. I'm just not on board with Trevor Lawrence. I'll be honest with you guys. The dude just does not look good on a week-to-week basis. And even when you've got the opposing quarterback throwing 3 interceptions, I don't know, just kind of brutal. Defensively, they looked terrible last week, giving up 31 points and making a backup quarterback look good. So not a lot of great stuff for me to say about the Jaguars here in terms of their injury report. They're going to be missing at least 1 offensive lineman, it looks like. Defensively, they're healthy, but I also think defensively they're bad. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the Jaguars are 1.5 point favorites at home. We've got a total of 43.5. Houston's 0-2 against the spread, 2-0 to the under. The Jaguars are 1-1 against the spread and 1-1 to the over-under. Guys, I will definitely take the Texans here getting a 1.5. Their offensive line does not look great. CJ's having a hard time once they get past the first drive or two, once the script is over and he has to kind of be making up stuff as he goes along. But the Jaguars managed to lose to the Bengals mostly without Burrow last week. Houston's clearly the better team. Really should have won last week against Tampa Bay. I will take the Texans here getting a 1.5. Rolling right along, guys, we've got the Denver Broncos heading to LA to take on the Chargers. The Broncos are 1-1 on the season. They come into this game fresh off a devastating 29-28 loss there against the Colts, where it very much looked like they won. Those leverage plays, I don't really know what to say about that, guys. That was pretty weird. I guess that's why you have to, play better, not let it come down to the last second weird something or other like that at the end. Bo Nix played well, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, sacked 0 times. Also ran the ball for 20 yards, so not looking too bad using his legs. I liked a lot better what I saw in week 2 from Bo Nix than what I saw in week 1. The running game looked good. J.K. Dobbins moving the ball on the ground well. The wide receivers had a pretty reasonable day across the board, and only that 1 turnover. So a very good day from Denver offensively. Now, defensively, they could not stop the run at all. Jonathan Taylor, 165 rushing yards on 25 carries against them. Couldn't slow down Danny Dimes either. He passed for over 300 yards and 0 interceptions. So a rough day at the office there for what was supposed to be an amazing Denver defense that's not looking so amazing right now. So we'll see if they can bounce back a little bit in this one. In terms of injuries, Evan Ingram is going to be out, so they'll be missing their starting tight end. Defensively, they're looking relatively healthy, so that's nice. And they're going to need everybody they've got here as they take on the Chargers, who are off to an amazing start. They're 2-0 on the year, beating the Chiefs and beating the Raiders. I mean, I'm not going to say that game against the Chiefs was completely comfortable, but it was fairly comfortable, and they were never really in danger there against the Raiders. So Really good stuff from the Chargers here right out of the gate. Loved what we saw from Herbert and love what we've seen from him so far this year. 2 touchdowns, 142 yards passing last week. The running game didn't really get going, so that's a little bit of a concern. It'd be good if they could run the ball. We did see Herbert fumble it away once, but that was the only turnover the Chargers had all day. Now, on defense, picking off Geno Smith 3 times. How many of those go to Geno, or just like Geno throwing to the other team? How many of those did you generate? I mean, it was a good day. Definitely a good day. They did a good job slowing down the run, did a good job limiting the pass. Only gave up 9 points. That's a very, very good day for a Chargers defense that I think is going to be pretty solid this year. Now, looking at the injury report, we do see, they're going to be missing their starting tight end. That's not great. And on defense, got a couple guys questionable. Henley could be out there at linebacker. Cam Hart does seem like there's a chance he plays in this game. Their cornerback, but it's not a lock. Not a lock that he plays in this game. So looking at the numbers for this one, guys. The Chargers are -3. We've got a total of 46 in this game. Denver's 0-2 against the spread, 1-1 to the over-under. The Chargers are 2-0 against the spread, 1-1 to the over-under themselves. Guys, I actually like Denver here getting 3 points quite a bit. Maybe the Broncos defense came into the season a little bit overrated. Do they have to blitz to get pressure? Yes, but they do get that pressure. The Chargers could end up winning this game. Will they win it by more than 3? We'll see. They're banged up, missing some pretty important pieces there on the offensive line. Their defense is looking a little bit banged up, honestly. We'll see if those guys play or not, but they're not going to be at 100%. So I do think Denver here at +3 is a pretty good play, and I do actually think they've got a chance to make it in as our dog of the day. I could also be interested in under 46 in this one, but not the total play is not making the pinned comment. Rolling along here, guys, we're looking at the New Orleans Saints going on the road to take on the Seattle Seahawks. The Saints are 0-2 on the year. They started off the season with a 20-13 loss against the Cardinals. Then they had a 26-21 loss against the 49ers last week. Did they play well in this game? Well, I mean, Spencer Rattler did have 3 touchdown passes and 207 passing yards. Are we going to see that again from him? I would be a little bit shocked. Kamara had a monster day running the ball, 21 carries for 99 yards. Keep in mind, they did all this, still managed to lose this game by 5. Not an amazing look. We did see Kamara fumble it away once. Rattler got sacked 3 times. And this is going up against Mac Jones and a kind of banged up San Francisco just defense in general. So we'll see what they're able to do here. Defensively, they were obviously horrifyingly bad. They couldn't stop Christian McCaffrey when they were running the ball. They also couldn't stop him from catching it. They couldn't stop the passing game from a backup quarterback or generate any turnovers except for that one Mac Jones fumble. I mean, that's a pretty bleak day. You're giving up 26 points to a backup quarterback. So I'm not super high on really anything that I'm seeing from the New Orleans Saints right now. And in terms of their injury report, looks like they could be missing 2 starters there on the offensive line. That's a pretty big deal. Going to be missing at least 1 starting linebacker there in Chase Young. He's confirmed out for this game. So yeah, a lot of problems confronting the New Orleans Saints coming into this game. Now, the Seahawks, they come into this game 1-1. Probably should have won in week 1 there against the 49ers, and week 2 against the Steelers. Looked pretty good. It does seem like Jackson Smith and Njigba is going to be available for this game, so that's a big step in the right direction for them. In that 31-17 beatdown of the Steelers last week, Sam Darnold still managed to get picked off twice, but it looked good other than the passes that went to the other team. Kenneth Walker III, and just a very good day. Averaged 8.1 yards per carry, and his longest carry was 20 yards. He was killing it out there. We liked what we saw from Jackson Smith and Njigba. Cooper Kupp had a big game, catching 7 out of 9 targets for 90 yards. A lot of positives there for the Seahawks on offense. Now on defense, giving up only 17 points to the Steelers does look pretty good after what they did in week 1. Rodgers picked him off twice, sacked him 3 times, generated some good turnovers in that game, held the run in check, held the pass in check, and only gave up 17 points. Nothing negative about that. Now, looking at the injury report for Seattle, Jackson Smith and Njigba, like I was saying, that's the only guy on the injury report for the offense, and he's confirmed going to play in this game. Will he be at 100%? Maybe not 100%, but I think he's going to be close. Defensively, could be missing a couple starters there in the secondary. Now, is that a huge deal against the Saints? I would lean towards no. And looking at the numbers for this game, the Seahawks, they're -7. We've got a total of 41.5 in this game. New Orleans is 0-2 against the spread, 1-1 to the over-under. The Seahawks are 1-1 against the spread, 1-1 to the over-under. I will definitely take Seattle here at -7. The Seahawks defense, maybe not great, but maybe it is great. The Saints have not played a defense like this at all this season. They get pressure without blitzing, which could be a huge problem in this matchup. This is the Saints' first home game. Seattle's going to be able to run the ball, and the Saints can't stop the run. I definitely think we see the Seahawks win this game very comfortably. Next up, guys, we got the Dallas Cowboys heading to Chicago to take on the Bears. The Cowboys got a miracle win in Week 2 after kind of an annoying loss there in Week 1, a game they could have won against the Eagles. They barely managed to win in overtime there against the Giants. Looked like for a bit there might be a tie in that game. They gave up 450 passing yards to Russell Wilson. Not a great look. Dak passed the ball 52 times for 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and sacked 3 times. We saw the Cowboys get the running game going. Javonte Williams running the ball really, really well in that one. CeeDee Lamb, a monster day. Honestly, we liked a lot of what we saw from Dallas there offensively. Now, defensively, being unable to stop Russell Wilson, who passed for 450 yards, is incredibly embarrassing. Will they do that in this one against Caleb Williams? I would kind of hope not. They also struggled a little bit against the run, so definitely a bounce back is in order for that Dallas defense, which might just not be that good. Now, in terms of their injury report, they look very, very good on offense, fully healthy. On defense, going to be missing at least one member of the secondary, maybe 2. That depends on Trevon Diggs if he can play in this game. And right now, he's currently listed as, we don't have an update. He's just still on the injury list as questionable. So we'll see how that goes. Now, they're taking on the Bears. They just put Johnson there. That groin issue is landing him on the IR, so they're going to be without their best cornerback. They're 0-2 on the year, losing to the Vikings and the Lions. Not the worst teams out there, obviously. Now, looking at what they did against the Lions last week, they kind of ran into a disaster there. Caleb Williams, not terrible, 19 of 30, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, but he was sacked 4 times. The running game did get going a bit, but when you're trailing by that much, you're going to have a rough time getting to run the ball too much. On defense, they got obliterated. Gave up 5 touchdown passes to Jared Goff. Couldn't stop the run, couldn't stop the pass, couldn't do anything good, couldn't generate any turnovers, couldn't generate any sacks. That was an embarrassing performance. So they're back home. They get a chance to bounce back here, but they're not going to be at full strength. Swift is questionable for this game, but is reportedly going to play. TJ Edwards is out. Kyler Gordon is out. And like we were just talking about, guys, not a full strength defense, obviously, with Johnson out as well. So looking at the numbers for this game, the Bears are getting 1 point at home. We got a total of 50.5 in this game. Dallas is 1-1 against the spread, 1-1 to the over/under. The Bears are 0-2 against the spread, 2-0 to the over. Guys, Caleb Williams in his career is 0-7, losing by an average of 11 points per game in 1 p.m. or noon starts. Does that matter? Maybe not, but it feels like it. I'll definitely be taking the Cowboys here at -1. Neither team is great on defense. Caleb Williams has not been good at all. Johnson going to the IR was a big deal in this spot. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do here to slow down the Dallas wide receivers. Dak is really, really good against bad teams. I will certainly be taking the Cowboys playing on the road in this one. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we've got the Arizona Cardinals heading to San Francisco to take on the 49ers. The Cardinals are 2-0 on the season, but they beat the Saints and they beat the Panthers. So let's not overreact too much. I'm seeing stuff about how they could be the best team, and they're just not. I don't know, guys. I don't think they're very good. In their 27-22 win against the Panthers, they were dominating that game. Let the Panthers get back in a little bit late. Kyler Murray, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. James Conner, 11 carries for 34 yards and a touchdown. They did not do anything that special in this, and they just kind of took advantage of the mistakes there of the Panthers. Now, defensively, they gave up 3 passing touchdowns to Bryce Young, had 1 interception, 3 sacks, slowed down the running game. That was nice. They did generate 2 total turnovers, so that's good. But giving up 22 points against the Panthers is not necessarily amazing. They also gave up 13 points against the Saints, which I'm not going to complain about that too much. We'll see what they do this week. I mean, looking at the injury report, they're relatively healthy. 1 starter questionable there on the offensive line. On defense, a couple guys there in the secondary are questionable. We'll have to wait and see if they're actually going to play, though. And will they need them here against the 49ers? Well, we'll see. The 49ers are also 2-0 on the season. They beat the Seahawks in Week 1. Then they beat the Saints last week 26-21. Now, the 49ers have dealt with their share of injuries this year. Obviously, that's why we're seeing Mac Jones under center, but he looked amazing against the Saints. Now he's going to go up against the Cardinals. How much better are the Cardinals on defense? We'll have to see. Christian McCaffrey had a very good day there, catching the ball and running the ball, and really just liked a lot of what we saw from the San Francisco 49ers in general on offense last week. Now, defensively, giving up 21 points and 3 passing touchdowns there to Spencer Rattler is a bad look. They also couldn't stop the run, so I am worried about the 49ers defense and their, just overall health. I guess it is possible that Brock Purdy plays in this game. Is that really possible? Oh, he is actually... Yeah, he's highly unlikely to play. Okay, guys, so we're not actually going to see him. Okay, that was just a little bit surprising. But Jawan Jennings is questionable. Connor Colby is also questionable. The defense is relatively healthy, though, and that could be a big deal in this spot. And looking at the numbers, the 49ers are 2-point favorites. We got a total of 45 in this game. Arizona's 1-1 against the spread, 1-1 to the over-under. The 49ers are 2-0 against the spread and 1-1 to the over-under. The Cardinals secondary is banged up. The 49ers definitely have the coaching edge in this one. Mac Jones under center generally doesn't make me happy, but I think in this game it does. So I'll lean a bit towards the home team in this one. So give me the 49ers at -2, but not enough faith in this one either way to give you much of a pick. Last but not least here, guys, we are looking at the Kansas City Chiefs going on the road to take on the New York Giants. The Chiefs come into this one 0-2 on the year. Pretty rough schedule to start, playing the Chargers there in that weird South America game, then playing against the Eagles. And that 2017 loss that was primarily caused by that Kelsey, tipped ball that ended up going the other way. That was a little bit bleak, but I mean, yeah, the Chiefs still, I think, are a decent team. In that game against the Eagles, we liked some of what we saw from Mahomes. He did miss at least one deep pass that he would love to have back. He was picked off once. That was that Kelsey problem. That was not his fault. He did a great job running the ball, which is a concern because A, you don't want him to get hurt, but B, that shows that your actual running game isn't doing much, and we haven't liked what we've seen from Pacheco or from Kareem Hunt. So definitely got to do something to get that running game going, but they were going against the Eagles. Now, defensively, giving up 20 points against the Eagles is not bad. Slowed down, but did not stop the run. Obviously, couldn't stop the tush push. All the conversation around that, though, is getting a little bit out of hand. So we'll see what goes on in this one. They're not going to be facing the tush push in this game. The Chiefs, Worthy is confirmed out for this one, so that's got to be a little bit frustrating. We'll see when he's able to make his way back. But other than that, they are healthy on offense. On defense, they're going to be missing Mike Dana there at defensive end. That's not ideal, but other than that, they're healthy. And they're going to be going up against a Giants team, which is 0-2 on the year. But this team's been a bit of a wild card. They got blown out by the Commanders in week 1. Then last week, lost 40-37 there against the Dallas Cowboys in an absolutely insane game. Never thought I'd see Russell Wilson pass for 450 yards again in his career. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 3 sacks. The running game got going a little bit for the Giants. We'll see what they do here against the Chiefs defense, though. I think the Chiefs are actually a pretty good defense. I do not think that about the Cowboys. Defensively, obviously the Giants were garbage last week. Couldn't stop the run, couldn't stop the pass, couldn't stop anybody. They did generate 1 turnover and 3 sacks. Props on that, but I'm not very high on this Giants defense. And in terms of their injury report, Andrew Thomas is questionable there on the offensive line. Other than that, the offense is healthy. Defensively, they're probably going to be missing at least 1 defensive lineman, and they're definitely going to be missing at least their one starting linebacker. So pretty banged up there, and that could be bad news going up against a very determined Chiefs team. So looking at the numbers here, guys, the Giants are getting 6 points at home on Sunday Night Football. We've got a total of 44.5. The Chiefs are 0-2 against the spread, 1-1 to the over-under. The Giants are 1-1 against the spread and 1-1 to the over-under. This is going to be a very chalky pick. We missed out on the best of this number. If you can get the Chiefs at 5.5, I think it's a pin comment worthy play. I don't think we're going to find 5.5s anymore with how heavy the public is going to be on Kansas City here, but I'm okay with going with the public here in this spot. The Chiefs are in desperation mode. I think they're going to find a way to win this game. At least I hope they will win it comfortably because we will be taking the Chiefs here at -6, but not with enough conviction to put this in the pinned comment. I do think we'll see a big letdown from the Giants after a huge game from Russell Wilson last week. I doubt that's something he can replicate. Guys, that's all the games we have here for today on a very busy NFL slate. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. I'm more than happy to get back to you. Thank you for watching. Make sure you click on the link in the description. Get over there to stumpthespread.com. Get on that free email list. Check out our free picks that are posted over there every single day. But you definitely want to check out those premium top confidence picks that are coming off a very, very red hot Saturday, both MLB and college football. We've got a ton of premium NFL picks over there at stumpthespread.com, which won't necessarily match what you see for me because I am not the premium NFL handicapper. So definitely get over there and check that out, guys. We'll be right back here on Monday. We'll cover Monday Night Football, and we'll be right here tomorrow with more sports betting action.